Alan Ochanda, KTN News in Baringo South, Baringo County.
Well, quite an unfortunate scene, but still in the education sector, the Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, says capitation funds have been disbursed to all public primary and secondary schools. Now, speaking in Kisumu, Magoha said all schools will receive the funds by tomorrow. The announcement by the Cabinet Secretary came amidst calls from teachers' unions demanding the government to release the money ahead of reopening to allow for adequate preparation.
The government has been under immense pressure to disburse funds to schools to allow for adequate preparations ahead of reopening. The two main teachers' unions, COPET and NAT, have been challenging the government to release the funds in order to allow school managers to put in place the necessary COVID-19 protocols. But on Wednesday, Magoha gave the response.
75% of secondary schools in this country are day schools, which are fully catered for by government as far as tuition is concerned and all the other small issues of running the schools. So the monies that they should be demanding should be for boarding.
In Kenya, we have nearly 13 million learners. If the government just spent 1 billion to purchase face masks, then each student will receive at least 3 reusable face masks.
Meanwhile, various stakeholders, including parents, have continued to express themselves over the partial reopening of schools beginning Monday next week. NAT Secretary General Wilson Sosion says the first reopening will help the government work on the modalities to recover lost school time.
January to March, that will be third term of 2020, and exams will be taken between March and April and marked. And Form 1s, the current Class 8 will report to Form 1 in the month of May. The current Form 4s shall have to report to universities. And between May and December, the calendar of 2021 shall be concluded.
But even as parents continue to express the challenges facing them, stakeholders have continued to urge the nation to support the Ministry of Education. The move, according to the members of the National Education Response Committee on COVID-19, is aimed at ensuring smooth progression of learners to the next level.
Kenyans have been complaining about the possibility of learners repeating, and that was addressed by the COVID-19 committee. And if you look at the calendar that has been released, term 2 of 2020 will be concluded by 23rd of December.
Until that announcement by the government that grade 4, Class 8 and Form 4 learners will reopen on October 12th, there was extreme fear over the possibility of the 2020 academic calendar going to waste. The move to recall learners in the 3 critical stages will ensure smooth transition to avoid a backlog in the education system. It appears the partial reopening of schools might have saved Professor Magoha a looming court battle with some Kenyans who moved to court seeking orders to compel the Ministry of Education to reopen schools. Shortly before Magoha made the announcement, the High Court had ordered him to urgently convene a stakeholder meeting in a case which has been sued by a parent seeking the reopening of schools. Justice James Makau ordered Professor Magoha to discuss modalities of resuming studies and submit a report to the court on October 14th. Shadrach Miti, KTN News.
Now tonight, justice has been served to the victims and survivors